Welcome to Big Life Weekly Series, where we empower high achievers to break free from limits, unlock their natural potential, and live a big life. I'm your host, Robert Acosta, and each week we will explore the strategies, mindsets, and tools you need to thrive, not just in your professional career, but in every aspect of your life. Whether you're a leader looking for a better balanced life, an entrepreneur aiming for sustainable success, or someone ready to take the next step toward your best self, this podcast is your space to grow, reflect, and take action. Let's dive into today's episode. Hello, I'm Robert Acosta. I'm with Donna Bailey from Bloom Wellness Solutions in New York, USA. Welcome, Donna.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice having you today. So let's jump right in and start showcasing your business. So Donna, can you give us a 90-second overview of what your business does and why you got into it?
Sure. So my business, Boom Wellness Solutions, is a coaching program, and it provides health and wellness coaching to executive women. And my purpose is to help them to lead with confidence. I want them to feel unstoppable every day and excel at work without sacrificing their personal wellness. I actually started my business after my mom passed in April of 2021. She had a sudden massive stroke, and she was who we thought was the healthiest one in our family. So it was quite a shocker. But what happened is a couple of years later, in 23, I actually did a 3-mile memorial walk in her honor, and that just kind of started my own personal health and wellness journey. So I just did simple things. I just started walking. I changed my diet a little bit, and then after doing that for a couple of months, I actually reversed my own high blood pressure. My cholesterol went down. I had more energy. I was just like, I was like an energy ball at work, and they were like, "What's going on with you? You're so different," you know? And then I realized I was actually surrounded by many other women leaders in my workplace, and they were just like me. They were stuck. They never focused on their health. And so I created my business to help them regain the time that they needed to put their health back on the front burner of their life.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing how important is our health and just and
It is.
simple. And it's really simple to take care of it. Minimal things like moving, as you started, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, what do you enjoy most about your work in the health and wellness business?
I enjoy just helping a woman leader to have a more full and fulfilling life, because that's really what it's all about. What I'm dealing with is a person who's very high level. They've achieved so much professionally, but a lot of times what happens is they just get lost in that. And I've been there, so I understand what that means. And what happens for them is on the job, people see a person that's an executive, they see the VP, they see the CEO, and they just think, oh my God, they're so amazing. Oh, I can't even go over there. I can't touch them. But they're actual human beings with lives. They have challenges, they have struggles, they have families, they have dreams. And a lot of those things get put to the side because they're trying to push the organization to the top. So I want to be that person that's there to help push them, because they don't have somebody that's there kind of like an advocate for them. So my coaching work, when I get to really get to the root of, where did they get stuck, why they burnt out, why they so tired, why they stressed, then we can just begin to, in a personalized way, figure out how do we put movement, how do we put,
Right.
good eating and things back into your life to have you feeling better. And it's amazing to see the transformation.
Yeah, I think in that world, I was in corporate America for 30 years as well. So I've seen many people, women and men, really
Yeah.
falling into the cracks of health and wellness. So lack of health, of course. And as you say,
hmm
for leaders, it's all about vulnerability. So see that you're
Yes.
vulnerable, like it's
Mhm.
an advantage. That, as you say it in different words. We are humans, and we struggle, and
Yes.
that's okay. And that's even what makes us connect with other people, and not seeing in a pedestal that you're untouchable,
Right.
right?
hmm
So yeah, I think the
Definitely.
work you do is really, really important, mostly these days, and mostly for women that they
hmm
try to go ahead in their lives, in their careers, with all the other things that they need to do. So for me,
Right.
I always say
Definitely.
that this century is the women's century, and they are really my heroines. So they are heroes for me.
Hmm.
So in your job or in the work you do with women particularly, how
Hmm.
can you define success? What is success for you?
So success is not a thing or a place. I think success is more an overall feeling that someone has that
Right.
things are balanced for them, right? So I think balance is kind of a tricky word because a lot of times we think balance means everything would be like this. But
Perfect.
maybe
Yeah.
I want to say a rhythm, because a rhythm has ebbs and flows. But what happens in an ebb and a flow is that you still want to make sure that you don't get caught down here in the crack, right? And
Right.
so for me, when I'm working with my clients, the goal is not, lose 10 pounds in 60 days. I'm not one of those programs because it's not about the superficial, it's more about internal.
Right.
Their mental health, their emotional, their physical. I want them to feel like, okay, I'm okay now. Like I feel like I have reached a place where I realize I don't have to sacrifice climbing up the corporate ladder to be a great woman, to pursue my dreams, to have a great family life, because you can have it all. It's just what's important is that you have to realize that you're the core of everything.
Yeah.
So if I'm the VP of, I don't know, Microsoft, right? Whatever I'm doing there strategically can't happen if I'm not well, if
Yeah.
I don't feel that things are in control. So I'm giving them back control. And really, it's like, I use something that we call motivational interviewing, which is really more of a technique where I'm kind of pulling things out of you. So I don't tell my clients you need to do X, Y, and Z. I'll make suggestions where they're able to see for themselves, you know what?
Yeah.
I could do this. I could block these 10 minutes on my calendar and that could give me time to do this. And that will help me to be more energized and ready for that 3 hour meeting that I'm about to enter, right? So it's just things like that,
Right.
because I give them space to just be themselves.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I know that success is not a title or a number of even accolades. It's the feeling of what you are doing. It
Yeah.
means to everyone, and it's something that you have that freedom. You impact people, and you have that peace
Hmm.
of mind. I think that's a beautiful way to really measure success or consider yourself a successful person. And of course, balance. There's no balance. Life is unbalanced. It's
It
natural.
is.
Even when you walk, you have to be unbalance your body. Otherwise, you
Hmm.
won't work. One step, then the other. So you need to be unbalanced. So I think that's a fallacy, and I think you got it very, very well. Yeah, life is unbalanced. So deal with that. But
Hmm.
you can get into a rhythm and you can control that rhythm consciously. And I think
Right.
that's exactly what you do, right?
I think of it like, well, you'll understand because you're from Canada. So, when it snows, you can still drive in the snow. You just have to drive differently, right? We have to
Of course.
control that car and not slam on the brakes. And that's what I see a lot of my clients doing is slamming on the brakes all the time, just trying not to crash, right? But they teach us that in the snow, you have to pump your brakes. So I
Right.
kind of teach them the technique of pumping brakes in their life. And if you just slow down and get control, you'll find out that, wait a minute, this is not as overwhelming as I think it is. I just need to handle it this way. And then they see great success from those little changes.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great analogy. So I'm just curious. Of course, there are a lot of fallacies about health and wellness, how to be healthy, what is
Hmm.
wellness really. So, what is the biggest problem or challenge that you see in your industry in health and wellness, and how are you solving that for yourself, your clients, your colleagues, and any referral partners, even?
So I'm going to start out telling you my story because I consider myself my first client, right? So
Yeah,
um,
that's great.
here was my problem. I was so wrapped up in just a rat race of, work and excelling and getting promoted and all of this stuff. I was neglecting my health. And when I say neglecting my health, I mean I've literally gone 3 to 4 years without even going to the doctor. You just keep going and going, and you're like, oh, I have to schedule this appointment. You don't do it. And then you get the flu or you get COVID, and then you're running to urgent care, right? So that was my life. I used to call myself America's certified couch potato because although I may be, small in stature, my health was a mess. Like I never moved. I have a Reebok stepper that I had not used since my 20s. I'm in my 50s now. And so I was just tired all the time because I kept eating McDonald's and just running all the time. So I saw that I was basically just burnt out and I didn't see an end in sight. So when I look at the health and wellness industry, I think the real issue is messaging. Because when people hear health and wellness, I think they hear something fluffy and emotional, and they talk about self-care and go get your nails done and go get a massage. It's bigger than that. Those are just things,
Right.
activities that you can do, but it's really about prioritizing yourself. And so for my target audience, executive women, I present it to them as a leadership tool. Because a lot of times leaders think, oh, I just have to be a strategic thinker. I just have to know how to do change management. You do have to do those things, but if you are burnt out, you're not going to be able to impact change management. You're not going to be clear. I was exhausted all the time, so I know if you're not mentally clear, you can't strategically think. So what happens when you get in the boardroom? Now you look like you're failing, right? And so another thing about this health and wellness industry that really just kind of called me to this, about 46% of the U.S. workforce is women. And I feel that whenever you want to impact change, you have to start from the top. So my executive women are the top of the ladder. And if I can get them to understand, hey, this is not just going to the spa, this is a leadership tool. I need you to really put this in the front. Because if you do it and you lead by example, the women under you are going to follow. People are going to say, wait a minute, something's different. What are you doing? Maybe you'll even be encouraged to say, you know what, I want you to bring what you're doing here to my organization so that the 4,000 women in our workforce are now healthy. They're not burnt out. I don't have as much, lower productivity, more people calling out, things like that, because now you understand I've got to balance that. No, not balance. I've got to have a rhythm so that I can excel professionally, but I don't have to do it by sacrificing me,
Right.
right? So that's what I see
Yeah,
as,
and
as
I see
solving the problem.
it's equivalent and even worse in men when they you say, well,
Mhm.
I'm the first provider, so I me is second or third. First is
Mhm.
the money that I need to bring to home, and now I know women are in that kind of mentality as well. But as
Yeah,
you say,
definitely.
I always say, if you don't take care of your body, where are you going to live? Because
Right.
you wherever you want to
Mhm.
go, whatever you want to do, you need your body. So I would
Mhm.
say that first is you and your physical life is first. Then, if you have a good idea, if you have money to invest, if you have a business, that is
Mhm.
second. But if you have all of that, money, idea, time, but you don't
Mhm.
have your health, you're doomed. You're not gonna make
Absolutely.
it. So I think what you do is what I say. It's the most important, and that's a priority. And even for men, they need to take care of themselves because sometimes someday they won't be able to really produce what they need to produce that they are
Mhm.
responsible to produce. And now I
Right.
know it's women and men responsibility. It's not only men. So I
Mhm.
think it's crucial. I'm an athlete, so I understand that since I was a kid. But I understand how the benefits of being healthy and move your body. But
Mhm.
now, later on, I understand that it was instrumental to my professional success is the way I treated my body. Of course, I did it as an athlete. I'm not telling, and some people I say, you want to have a great career, become an
Mhm.
athlete. But sometimes you don't have the time
Yeah.
or the effort. But there are other things, and I think those are the things that you work with people, little things, small things that you can do,
Yes.
and to get to that rhythm of body, mind, results, right?
Yeah. Like they say, right? You know, now it's escaping me, but there was something you said about your body and your mind. I mean, I'm not an athlete, but I walk. I walk 2 to 3 miles a day, 5 times a week. I do strength training, not to become muscular, but just to stay strong
Of
and,
course.
keep myself together. And I focus now on my nutrition because it's like a car, right? I don't care if you have a Mercedes Benz. If it's on E, you're not going anywhere. So the same
Right.
thing with us, right? Which is why
Yeah.
nutrition is a huge part of, the overall, right?
Yeah, and that's a good analogy. If you're a Mercedes Benz, or if you have a Mercedes Benz, would you put Coca Cola in the gas tank? They say,
Right.
not at all. It's my Mercedes Benz. It cost me. Well, you know what?
Mhm.
That body, it didn't cost you anything. That's why you put whatever inside, but it's like equivalent.
Mhm.
And maybe that's the reason why people don't care about their body, quote unquote,
Mm-hmm.
because it costs you nothing. But your car,
So true.
your luxury car, you put never put a Coca-Cola, right? So why you do it with yourself, which is more valuable than any car. So
Absolutely.
it's about, yeah, I know that's what I say. There's a lot of fallacy or bad conditioning that we
Mhm.
have. And of course, the environment, it's one of the reasons we are in the way we are, mostly in North America, right?
Right.
So I know
Definitely.
women is your target, but among women, who is your ideal client and what significant outcomes can they expect when they work with you?
So my ideal client are executive women, and I know a lot of times people think that's only the C-suite. I really see the executives as those that are directing, VP, and above because they're all kind of in that hot seat space, right? And also a woman who is a business owner because if you're a business owner, you are a CEO,
Of
right?
course.
So it makes you an executive. And I'm really here to support those of them that are burnt out, they're overwhelmed, they're feeling the pressures of their professional responsibility, and they're feeling like, I don't have time for that. I even work with executives that have said that to me. So I'll notice things about them, say, when's the last time I went to the doctor? I know, yeah, I got to schedule that. Like they need somebody to kind of push them, right? So it's very challenging because you're in these back-to-back meetings, you got pressure from the stakeholders and the boards and all these things, late nights going on. So they're running on E. So Bloom Wellness Solutions is here to give them a fill up because I need my executives. I call them my EQs, executive queens, because I really see them as they're royalty. They're the ones that are the movers and the shakers, and they're making a lot of things happen out there. But these major outcomes that they want, that they expect, it's not going to happen unless they're filled up. So one of the outcomes they can expect working with me is number one, I'm going to make sure that they are understood, they are seen, and they are heard because nobody really sees the person once they get to work. It's all about the hierarchy and the position,
Of
right?
course.
So I'm going to put the personhood back in there. And the other thing is that Bloom is really about taking them through a transformative wellness journey that's holistic. So I don't promise people I'm going to help you just to lose weight, or something like that. But I take them through 6 pillars in my program. And those pillars are nourishment, resilience, tranquility, abundance, unity, and harmony. So we cover kind of everything, right? Um, and 6 months is really the time period that I've learned that's where you really get to see transformation because what happens is you just start growing as a person, you know. And I love that when people see that for themselves. So I personalize things tailored to their lifestyle, where they go from what I call leading and bleeding to achieving with well-being
Okay.
because that's what they're doing a lot of times. People just don't know it, right? It's like an internal bleed. So overall, I'm just here to support my executive queens to go from being overwhelmed to being empowered.
Yeah, maybe you, like me, choose clients that, and you mentioned that they are in that level mostly because they have people in charge. And as you
Mhm.
mentioned before, it's not about what you say, it's what you do, it's the example.
Mhm.
So when you
Right.
have people that you are in charge of, you
Mhm.
need to be an example of them. So if you were, and I guess as I say, if I can work with someone that can influence hundreds of people, I don't need to work with hundreds of people. I just work with the leaders. I just
Mhm.
work with the influencer. And I know that it's equivalent of working with 1,000 people, but
Right.
most effectively.
Mhm.
So, and I think that's a very, very good strategy to choose those people that who are influencers. Though
Right.
they are going to influence by their example how they need to live in terms of, in this case, health and wellness, right?
Mhm.
So let me ask you this: what is the strangest or funniest incident that you've experienced while working in your health and wellness business? Something that you want to share, or something surprising and say, "Wow," that you can share with the audience.
Yeah, I had one client. She was older. She was getting ready to retire very soon when she started working with me, and she on one of our sessions she sat there and she just started crying, and I said, What's happening?" And she said, before I met you, I had not literally. She said she never had any form of movement in her life at all since high school, and then working with me and starting to learn how to really put this as a priority in her life and how to do little things every day to change. She said, Donna, I joined a gym across the street from my house. It just opened up. And I joined, and I'm going 3 days a week, and I feel so good. And I just never thought this was anything that I could do, because she said she really just felt like um, that just wasn't for her. It was for other types of people, you know. And so that just really, it brought tears to my eyes, because to hear someone say that they have not really focused on themselves and their physical health for over 4 decades, and now you're realizing like this is something I can do, and that's a huge step to join a gym and then to consistently go 3 days a week. Wow,
Yeah, when you had
that was amazing.
that habit, and I think that's why you mentioned 6 months, because
Hmm.
what you're building in them is the habit of taking care of themselves physically.
Right.
So as
Yeah.
all habits, you don't build those overnight. So you
Hmm.
need to be consistent. As you mentioned, a key word for any athlete or for any people that want to, even in business, you have to be
Hmm.
consistent. And that connection of body mind,
Hmm.
even though I know you're focusing on the physical because they have to have that energy, but when you are fit or when you are healthy, you
Hmm.
think better, you make better decisions, you are much better at your work, you're going to have
Right.
better results. So when
Clarity.
you make that connection, maybe some executives are going to say, okay, it's for my results, because they're in that world, they want to have
Right.
results, right?
Right.
Yes,
Hmm.
work your body and you're gonna make better decisions and you have better results in your company, in your job, and then you're gonna
Hmm.
escalate the ladder. So I don't know, maybe you make that connection as well, right?
Definitely, because I know just from the exercise that I do in strength training, when you're releasing all the good hormones, right, it reduces your stress hormones. So you get the dopamine being released and the endorphins and all of that. You have so much more focus and clarity. Because I find now that I work much faster than I ever have before. Things that would have taken me weeks, where it would have been, oh my goodness, I don't know what's the next step. I can just sit there and just bang out a process, you
Yeah,
know.
faster.
So it's real. It makes a real difference.
Yeah, it just came to my mind that you can even advertise in this is a productive, yes, a productive program. It's a program to be more productive at your work. I say, what is it about? It's a strategist or some idea. No, it's physical. If
Yeah,
you physically are fit, you're going to be more productive in your life, not only in your business, even in your personal life, in your family lives.
definitely.
So I think that's amazing. So what do you see as the coming trends? Health and wellness has been here for a while, but
Hmm.
still there are a lot of misunderstanding and misnomers. So what do you see as the coming trends within this health and wellness industry, and how are you staying on top of that?
So I think that health and wellness overall is really it's it's more than a buzzword. I mean, it is a buzzword out there on the internet, but I see that it's really growing. It's going to grow exponentially in different ways. And when you think about it, I mean, the health and wellness industry is going to be it's going to be $1 trillion industry within the next decade, because
Yeah,
everybody's
should
trying
be.
to get into it. But I think there's more of a focus now on the physical, and I think the physical, I agree with you, it goes along with the mental. Really can't separate the two. I think one complements the other. And so, in order to get people to the place where they understand that it's going to help you to be more productive, it's going to give you more energy, it's going to make you better in so many areas, coaching is the key to that. I really believe.
That mental connection is really, really crucial,
Imperative.
and that's the way people are going to value it even more. I think everything is connected: your financial life, your
Hmm.
mental life, and your physical life, and work in a rhythm, as using your word, all together. That's the
Hmm.
name of the game. And of course, you can do it by yourself, but it's going to take you a longer time,
Longer.
and maybe you're going to
Right.
fail. So that
Hmm.
idea, and I think that's definitely a trend. People are more open to have a
Yeah.
coach. I've always had a coach because I'm an athlete, so I know the value of having a person next to you,
Hmm.
seeing you, and detecting your blind spots, because we all
Right.
have blind spots.
Yeah.
That's what a coach is about. So you can see any successful people, really successful people, are surrounded by coaches.
Hmm.
So if you really want to do something of significance with your life or in the world,
Yes.
you're not going to do it alone.
Can't do it alone.
You're
And
gonna,
that saying that if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you got to go together, right? And within
That,
my coaching program, I don't even go alone. I have a team of coaches with me. So I have a finance coach. I have a doctor who is a nutrition coach. So they come in and they do sessions that make it personalized to my client to help them in those areas so they get the whole holistic thing. So I know that I cannot do it alone. And so I model that for my clients, you know.
yeah. Well, as we see the health and wellness industry growing and blooming,
Hmm.
that's the name of your company, they're blooming. So, what advice would you give to someone just starting a business like this on a health and wellness industry?
I would challenge them to really kind of dig deep and just think about why are you doing it. And the motivation has to go beyond, a financial target. Like for me, to be honest with you, Robert, I had thought about doing a different type of coaching before. I had my daughter after I was 35, so I was going to be a mature mom coach. And this just kind of evolved, going through, what I went through with my mom and then my own health journey. And then I thought about it. And as I actually, when I would do those walks in the morning, I started making videos and posting them online. And, not thinking anybody's going to pay attention. And thousands of people started viewing my videos. And I was blown away. And people would, comment and say, thank you so much. I'm going to go walk today. I can do 10 minutes. Thank you for the encouragement. And people would see me in the neighborhood and start calling me the neighborhood walking lady, because I was out there all the time. And so I have a strong reason for what I do because I know that that change, that transformation wasn't just for me. It,
Right.
it needs to be spread abroad, and it can be best spread abroad, like we've discussed. If the leader from the top does it, it's going to trickle down. And I
Yeah.
want to see, the majority of the workforce have that effect.
Yeah, and in the journey, we're ready to open to have failures and learn through them. So
Yeah. Hmm.
I'd
And
like
it's
to
okay
ask
to
you,
change.
yeah,
Like,
what is the biggest failure or challenge that you have faced to this point in your life, and how that has shaped maybe the way you do business? I think,
I think my biggest failure was losing Donna in the process of life and work.
hmm,
Um, and that's
in yourself.
that's really what happened. I completely lost myself. I just got to the point where I was just stressed and just exhausted all the time. I would come home and tell my daughter, I'm tired. I don't have energy to play with you. So I got isolated from family and friends, and I honestly think there was a point where I really was depressed, but I didn't want to deal with it and didn't reach out for help. Um, and so that's why for me, this transformation in my health and in my life was so major because
Yeah.
I felt like I regained everything that I lost. I'm not stressed anymore. I have the energy, I have the clarity to handle things. So now life is a joy. Whereas before it was just something I wasn't really living, I was existing, even though I looked successful on the outside.
Yeah.
But that wasn't true.
And in the place you live, America, North America, it's
Hmm.
centuries of a mindset of the American dream, right?
Yes.
So that is embedded in the blood of all North Americans now, and
Mm.
it's all about struggle to get something, to work hard 40 years, and
Mhm.
later then
Yes.
enjoy life. Because you mentioned joy. That now you enjoy life today, not in the future.
Hmm.
So I think that's another fallacy, and it's really, really ingrained in particular here in North America.
Right.
So that's why I think your target or your audience it's everyone that is embedded in that mentality. Hopefully, there are more people saying, "Well, no, there's some other important things that only struggle or only money or only financial success,
Definitely.
right?"
Hmm.
But in the meantime, I think there's a lot of things to do and work with those people in their minds first, in their mindset first, and then they're going to make the
Yes.
decisions to change physically, maybe, right?
Definitely, everything starts with, the thought process.
So let's talk about the future. What is the next growth area for you personally and your business?
So my next growth area is really, just making sure that I stay on top of, the latest information that I can share with my clients because the information is going to lead to their transformation. So I try to make sure that I stay close to, the literature. I stay connected to experts in the field, doctors, nutritionists, and things like that, because I need to make sure that I'm filled up with the right content so that I can share it with them. I'm also doing a lot more networking and professional and personal development, making sure that I'm around the thought leaders, because not only are they people that could be potential clients, but it gives me a way to really be able to understand how they're feeling, how they're thinking, just by having conversations and being in the room. So I stay very close to, any type of women events, conferences, things like that, because I want to be there, like right on the spot, to see how people are dealing with things. Well, what kind of work do you do? And as they just share with me, I'm getting the sense of, okay, this is a need or this is a gap. So I may think I have all my bases covered, but then when I have more conversations, I say, wow, Donna, you also need to bring in a little bit more about this particular issue or help with this. So those are the things I'm doing. And I have coaches. I have a board of directors in my life.
Yeah,
Between
you must
mentors
have.
and sponsors and coaches, because you have to. Because
Yeah,
if I don't have someone walking alongside me and
right.
I'm trying to tough it out by myself, how can I guide you effectively?
Of
So
course.
that's
Yeah,
what I'm doing.
that's amazing. I think you have a great plan and a great path. And as you said, you can see clearly what you want. You can see clear the path,
Mhm.
and that makes you joyful today, right?
It does, because I know that this is where my life is going,
Yeah,
outside of just my professional work in the day. This is where my life is going, and I'm just excited
yeah,
about that, taking it step by step and just watching it, like the business name says, bloom, right?
right.
So this is foundational, but out of the roots comes the plant and comes the flowers. And
Yeah,
so the
it's,
flowers is going to be the results of what the business does for people's lives, and that's what I love.
yeah,
That gives me
exactly.
joy.
Yeah, I think we're in an age that all our lives are entitled to bloom. So you
Yes.
have that right to bloom your life or rewrite your life from scratch right now if you
Hmm.
understand what we're talking about, right?
Right. You don't have to wait till retirement. You got to
Exactly.
live now.
Amazing.
Hmm.
So let me ask you this weird question. If you could have lunch with one person, living or dead, who would it be and why?
Yeah. So that would be my dad.
Nice.
So my dad is a retired psychiatric nurse and psychotherapist, but he's also the most resilient person I've ever known. And he actually taught us all, when we didn't even know what it was as kids, entrepreneurship. So not only was he a nurse, but he went into real estate. He owned several real estate holdings here in New York. And then as he got older, he taught himself how to invest in the stock market. And so because he did all of those things, now at 88 years old, he's still able to live at home, and have someone take care of him at home. He lives down south. And because of the way I watched him live, he taught me that there's just more to life than just work. And he did all of that with his family in mind and with his future in mind. So he's actually been like my roadmap for what I need to do. So I always knew from the time I became a nurse, I'm a registered nurse, that I wouldn't just be a nurse until I retired and that's it.
Right.
I knew there'd be something else, but I didn't know. But as I went through the journey of life, following kind of in his footsteps, because he's my hero.
Yeah, it's
And I
great.
love talking to him because he's just a wisdom bank. And I learned from him that, like you said, like you can rewrite at any time.
Right.
You don't have to stay the same. And so I want to be like my dad when I grow up.
So what I can capture is that your dad is the kind of person that make hard decisions today in order to have an easier life, and I'm saying easier, happier, and
Yeah.
more comfortable and really clear life using your words.
Hmm.
So and most people, and even when we were since we were kids, we're trying to find the easy ways of doing things and make easy decisions, comfortable decisions. And then we struggle and suffer the rest of our lives because we are making simple decisions. So I think the learning is no. learn how to make hard decisions today if you want to
Right.
live a long life, a simple, joyful life in the future, even wealthier life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Envision
I
the
don't know. I
future.
envisioned your father is those kind of people who are an example that
Mm-hmm.
of the path we all need to follow, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. So, what is the best way for people to contact you if they like to work with you or discuss referral partnerships?
Sure. So they can follow me on LinkedIn, and my LinkedIn page is actually my full name, Donna Nadine Bailey, RN. Or you can send an email to me at donna@bloomwellnesssolutions.com.
Perfect. Okay. Well, that was amazing. I truly enjoyed our conversation, Donna. So,
I did
thank you
too.
so much for being a guest on the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me on Big Life Weekly series. I hope today's episode gave you the insight, inspiration, and tools you need to move closer to the life you're meant to live. Remember, true success isn't just about what you achieve, it's about how you feel while you achieving it. If you found value in our conversation, please subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with others who are ready to embrace their big life. Until next time, stay focused, keep growing, enjoy life, and break free.